G'day guys, this is Monk from 12. Today we've got an unboxing and review video here for a package from Taidi toys. How this is going to work is we're going to open up the boxes, I'm going to show you what's inside, and then we're going to delve into each item individually. Following that, I'll show you how you might bring these items together to form part of your kit, and then I'll finish off with some recommendations for how you might use this gear in the field. Now the guys over at Taidi have provided this gear free of charge. However, we did go in store and pick the gear off the shelf ourselves. As such, the level of quality here is the same level of quality control which you would expect as a normal customer. Now first thing out of the box here guys, we've got the tactical throat mic. I'm just having a feel around and I'm actually finding that the hinges, surfaces and everything on this are actually much more malleable and strong than I'd anticipated them to be. Included in the box are a spare earpiece, some spare little hinges and whatnot, so if anything was to break you do have those spares there included. Followed by this, we've got the Z-Tac dual push-to-talk. Included is the instructions which you can read here. You can pause and read if you want to follow those more closely, as well as the push-to-talk itself and a Kenwood plug. Now one problem I did have with this was that it only includes one plug, so if you did want to actually use two radios you'll have to go and get yourself a second plug. Lastly, we've got the coaxial cable. SMA connectors pretty thin for what I found and the correct length for what we'd anticipate. Moving on, we're going to be having a closer look at each of the parts which I've just taken out of the box. First up guys, what we've got is the coaxial extender cable. Now this cable's long enough to relocate your antenna off your radio to pretty well anywhere you like, especially your back plate's a good place to chuck it. Now one small problem I did have with this piece of kit is it's pretty thin gauge wire. I would like to see it perhaps a thicker option, as well as BNC connectors. These SMA connectors that come standard on the coaxial cable are a little too light duty for me. Now that said, most antennas by default and as well as the Baofeng UV5i radios are going to come standard with SMA connectors on them. As such, a SMA connector only antenna relocation lead is going to allow you to have immediate compatibility with parts you may already have. Next up guys, what we've got is the Z-Tac dual push-to-talk. What this allows you to do is allows you to run two radios simultaneously. One small problem I noticed was the adhesive on the back of that clip is not so great. However, I'd personally be removing that anyway to run it closer to my body. Another problem I had was it only includes one Kenwood lead, meaning you have to purchase another one if you need more. Other than that though, the other options in the market for similar push-to-talks that are allowing you to run two comms simultaneously are $200 plus, so this is a good budget option if you're looking to bring a dual comm capability to your team. Now lastly, we've got the throat mic, also by Z-Tac. I initially believed this could be quite uncomfortable, however after wearing it I found that it was not nearly as uncomfortable as I thought it was going to be, and I actually stopped noticing it after not very long at all. It was not especially constrictive around my neck as a result of the soft elastic that's only very gently holding it on, which is also adjustable. How this works is it's got a bit of a bone mic which sits on your throat, which will pick up the vibrations of your voice and allow you to transmit them. You've then got a very lightweight lead which puts an earpiece in your ear and allows you to listen into your comms. This is a really good option for a budget headset that's going to allow you to listen in and talk over your comms without having to spend absolute bank on a set of contacts. It's also a really good lightweight option if you're looking to maintain a good amount of situational awareness while you're in your game. So now we'll be running through how to set up your gear. Basically what you're going to do is remove the antenna off your Baofeng and instead replace the antenna relocation cable. They're both an SMA connector, so you'll be able to plug it right in. If you were to have a BNC lead, what you'd do is you get a Baofeng to BNC adapter, and instead that will then turn your radio into a BNC option. But in this case the SMA lead will go directly from the radio to the antenna and allow you to place it wherever you'd like to put it. After that, just temporarily plugging in the Kenwood adapter so that we can then move that over to our push-to-talk. So if you were to have two of these Kenwood adapters, you would put one on the right side, one on the left side, and be running two radios. But in this case, it doesn't really matter which one you pick to use, just so long as you know that which button correlates to which push-to-talk lead. After that, we just plugged in our headset. So in total, what we've got is a radio leading up to a push-to-talk, leading to a headset. That controls our both our listening and our transmit protocols. And then from the radio again, we've got our relocation kit leading to our antenna that's allowing us to receive our information and send it. And we can now do a proof of concept, just check that it's running, run the radio, do some transmissions. You can even swap to an FM channel to practice just listening in and see what it sounds like. That'll give you a good idea of if your reception's alright, if you've plugged in your leads correctly, and if you can actually hear through your chosen headset. So what I've done here is I've set up my chest rig with this kit to show you basically how it works. We've got our headset leading down to our push-to-talk, leading to our directly to our radio without the relocation kit. Now, as you can see, it's compatible both with the normal contacts and with our ZTAC throat mic. You see here that adhesive on the plug did actually come off, but to be quite honest, how I would be running that push-to-talk is I would be removing that plug and instead zip tying it directly onto the molly, so it's less pushed out from my body, closer in, less of a snag hazard. So the purpose of this is to show you exactly how the antenna relocation kit works. At the moment, I've currently got my BNC cable routed through my plate carrier, but as you can see, the 47cm option is more than enough length to reach up over your shoulder, back down under your plate bag, and allow you to set up your antenna on your back panel, which would be an ideal situation for me. If you were to take your relocation cable and loop it through your cummerbund, the problem there is that you can no longer use that side of your kit to don and doff your gear. So I would recommend sort of going up over your shoulder, but one thing that you have to look out for is if it's slightly too short, you may be putting some undue stress on the cable. So just ensure that you've got enough wiggle room there, that any load bearing capability is actually being taken by the plate carrier as opposed to your cables. So just some closing remarks on the gear. I would recommend it. It's good budget options. It's cheap, it's local, and it's a veteran-owned business. As such, you're supporting some valuable members of our community, some guys who've been putting on some of the very few options that we have in terms of milsim in Queensland. The gear itself is overall quite good quality. There are some very small shortcomings as I've outlined, for example the adhesive on the push-to-talk. The fact that the push-to-talk cable is maybe not quite as thick as I would like, and the fact that the push-to-talk cable doesn't have BNC connectors on it. However, I believe that in terms of what options we do have available here, they are quite good options at a very fair price. The push-to-talk is a very competitive price, as I mentioned earlier. Other options in that same idea are over $200, so $60 from Australian veteran-owned business is a pretty good deal in that term. The throat mic, I think, has a very niche application. I wouldn't perhaps use it in every single game. Peltors do me quite well overall, but as I said, Peltors are quite expensive, and as such, the throat mic is a very cheap option, which in the application of milsim in the bush, where you may be patrolling around and you need to be able to listen out really well, it is a really good option because you sort of do need your extra ears about you. So guys, I hope that's been informative and it's helped you make a decision as to whether or not you might be interested in some gear like this. In addition to this gear review that I've been doing, we are working on some very basic intros to milsim style videos where we're going to be trying to, in between 5 and 10 minutes, outline some really basic topics in the milsim world. For example, hey, how do I get a radio? What do I do with it? And how do I use it? Things like that, which we are hoping might be able to help out some people who are a bit newer to the community. So thanks for watching, guys. Keep an eye out for further videos, and have a good one.